Welcome to the Autodromo Nazionale Monza for the final weekend of the season for the 2019 Euroformula Open Championship here at the Cathedral of Speed here in Italy, in just north or just south in many cases, or near Milan in many cases. 5.7 kilometres, 16 laps or 35 minutes maximum. It's going to be a thrilling race with the championship already decided. There's still the rookie title up for grabs and plenty of cracking racing. Good afternoon, everybody. Scott Woodward here to call through all the action. 18 degrees air temperature, 23 degrees track temperature, and humidity is around 68 degrees as well. And joining me for this race is single-seater runner of his own, Callan O'Keefe. So, Callan, welcome to the commentary box, and it's been a pretty incredible season so far. You've been pretty much here at all the races. I mean, what have you made of it so far?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me. Obviously, great to be up in the commentary box for a change. It's been absolutely incredible to be watching it trackside. It kind of gives you a bit of a different perspective, really. And yeah, it's been close. There's been loads of drivers up there, loads of drivers fighting for the lead. And I think we're set for an amazing race today as well, because obviously with qualifying, it's not the most important thing around Monza. It's going to be plenty of slipstreaming, plenty of action. So excited to see how we can close off the season this weekend.
It is one of those circuits, isn't it, where straight line speed is everything, particularly in the toe or just how much downforce you're running effectively. So really, in many cases, whoever can get themselves at the, arguably, if you're at the front of the pack, you're gaining the least advantage. But for those in the mix, it's certainly going to be quite a thing as we look through the grid and see Lars Lundqvist on pole position. So, I mean, how much of a premium is it to get a slipstream round here?
Well, we estimated this weekend it's about 1.2 seconds. And if you look at that on the timing screen, that's down to 15th position. So we are set for a great race. Obviously, the leader is the guy breaking the nice clean air. Everyone behind him. And as you get further and further back, the slipstream just multiplies. So if you're in a 5-car tow, all of a sudden you're there and the speed is even greater. So yeah, it's definitely where you want to be. Maybe not leading into turn one, maybe not even leading into the last lap. We'll see. That's happened in the past as well with Ferdinand Habsburg and Leonardo Pulcini going around the outside of Parabolica. So it's going to be a flat-out race and very, very unpredictable. It
is one of these situations where literally the worst place you want to be, ironically, if you're in a big pack of cars at the front, is in the lead, last corner, last lap, because it's never going to stay that way. We're just looking at the grid through the mix now. We've got Lars Lundqvist on pole. We've seen Liam Lawson second place on the grid, Nikolai Kiergaard third, Tepi Nattori who won last time out of Barcelona. There's our new champion, Marino Sato. He's had a pretty good season all round, but I think for this weekend it's probably just him. Keep it on the road, keep it nice and simple, stay out of trouble and finish off the season.
Well, I heard he was actually suffering with a stomach bug earlier on in the weekend, and he actually didn't run too much on Friday. So it'll be interesting to see. He's obviously looking forward to a great weekend.
Certainly will be. Here's the grid once again then. Lars Lundqvist on pole position with Liam Lawson alongside him for Team Motorpark. Nikolai Kiergaard and Tepi Nattori start on row 2 behind them. Row 3, new champion Marino Sato and Cameron Dast, the young American, for an all-team Motorpark. Row 3, Kalen Williams and Billy Munger, who was fastest in free practice yesterday, starts in 8th. Lucas Dunner, who looks to try and steal second place in the championship race, back in 9th alongside Jack Dooham. Ida Cohen, who debuted back at Barcelona, starts on row 6 alongside Yuki Tsunoda. Christian Hahn and Nicholas Crutten back on row 7. Carl Kirkwood and American ace Carl Kirkwood, Rui Andrade and Carl Kirkwood on row 8. Then two newcomers, Lorenzo Ferrari and Philippe Kamenyars as well, the Polish driver. So, off on the formation lap, is there anyone in the pack potentially, from what you've seen so far in free practice today or through qualifying, that possibly could spring a surprise, given where they may or may not have qualified?
I think looking trackside, like I said, it's going to come down to who's in the right place at the right time. As we see someone struggling to get away there, I think that's Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the RP Motorsport cars. It's number 3, so it is Lorenzo Ferrari. You're absolutely right. The other car with Carl Kirkwood this weekend, RP Motorsport making their first appearance in the championship for at least a while, running both of their guys. But, sorry, as you were saying.
Yeah, I think, Jack Doohan's got really good pace running in his own clean air. I'm helping Rui Andrade this weekend. He didn't get a tow in qualifying. He was only 1.3 off, and had he put a lap together, it would have been right there. And like I said, I really think it's going to be whoever's in the right place at the right time. It is so unpredictable. There's going to be plenty of action. So I think we could see the regular favourites sort of out front as we've seen in qualifying, but at this point, it's anyone's guess who's going to be sort of making up the top 5 going into the checker flag.
And with someone like Marino Sato as well, because usually for most of his races, when he's actually competed in one race, it's usually been pretty much from the front. when it comes starting back in 5th position, I mean, how do you feel he's going to go? Because we saw him struggle a little bit in traffic when he qualified a little bit lower down due to the fact there's no qualifying in Barcelona due to the weather on race 1. But when he was back in the pack, it seems though he struggled a bit for pace trying to get past people. Do you expect him to possibly have more of the same, or do you think because it's Monza and because of the fact you've got such a strong toe, it could be a different story this time?
Well, I think at Barcelona the mentality was probably different. You know, he was there to win the championship so that he could come here and effectively enjoy it. What we saw at Budapest, for example, where he went around the outside of Lucas Dunner at turn 1, is he's a super aggressive racer. Now that the championship's wrapped up, he can just be here for a bit of enjoyment. I'd expect absolutely nothing less. So, you know, a good start off the line. Maybe he'll be leading into turn 1, but as I've said, it's anyone's guess as to who's going to come out of turn 1 in the lead.
And also as well, if you look further down the pack as well, I think for many drivers, you can't really count that too much. Lucas Dunner, who's of course running second in the championship, Billy Munger usually gets quite good starts when he starts in row 4. Usually sometimes he might have a bit of better feel with his hand clutch compared to maybe a foot clutch as well in many cases. So it might have a bit of feel in terms of the grip of the traction away through his fingers rather than his feet in many cases. So he could be a possible threat from row 4.
Yeah, of course. It's just down to that thing as well, obviously. Huge drag down to turn 1, so your start is absolutely crucial, probably even more crucial than anywhere else. We can ride on board now. You can see they're just going to be getting that last bit of tyre temperature in there. That's crucial for a good start. And everyone is going to be chasing down that man, Linus Lundqvist, going into turn 1, hopefully. I
think what's also crucial as well is effectively, everyone's got to remember that effectively the race isn't won at the first corner. It's a long drag down towards turn 1. And I remember there was, I think Mark Larkham, the Australian, said a quote about Bathurst, which said, if you can't make the judgment call in Bathurst terms, 120 metres to a 1,000-kilometre race, just be a little bit sensible, don't start the race. It's the same here. If you know it's a longer race, it's roughly, 16 laps, 35 minutes, it's not all won the first corner. And don't get caught in the moment, because the moment comes at the checkered flag. So they've got to be careful to make sure we're not getting overexcited into the first corner. We saw in the GT Cup Open race. If they stay sensible, it could be a good occasion.
Exactly. As we see the cars line up now, let's wait and see.
So, Lundqvist on pole on the right, Lawson alongside in the front row on the left. Who's going to win the sprint down towards turn 1 and win the first race of 2 here for Euroformula Open? 5 red lights at the top of the screen, and when they go out, we're racing. Poor start from Pullman, great start for Nikolai Kiergaard through the middle of the front row, but he's got past Nikolai Lundqvist and Liam Lawson. He may get the lead by the time they get down to Recopino for the first time. It's side by side for the lead. On board with, looks like Tepe Notori to come down towards turn 1 for the first time, and Kiergaard goes round the outside of the Australian. One car skating off at the back. I think that was Caelan Williams off of the escape road. They've all got through just about safely. Williams up through the escape road, indeed it was, but up into the curve of Brandy for the first time, and it is almost side by side for the lead. Lawson's got his nose in front. Kiergaard watching on in third place. The 2 cars go side by side for the lead. Looks like possibly Kiergaard's getting squeezed out. Here comes Tepe Notori, possibly looking for second place on his teammate. Into the complex, Cameron Dass had a good start as well, as Kiergaard goes back around the outside of Lawson for the lead. The little side-by-side action, cars going across the chicane. Lucas Dunn skips the chicane. It's side-by-side again. Tepe Notori up the inside into the first part of the Lesmos. Also in there too is Cameron Dass. Liam Lawson goes round the outside for third place past the American. So a very frantic start. They've all got through just about cleanly, Callum, in many cases, but a cracking getaway from the young Japanese man. He's fired up after his first win in Barcelona.
Yes, and what a start that was. I mean, obviously 3 wide through Curva Grande. It wasn't over, the slipstream working to full effect there, and we see they're still weaving to try and break that toe. Lawson down the inside of Kiergaard. Has he done it? He's going to try and hang it around the outside. We'll have to wait to see. They're still side by side. Is that going to work? Oh, no, it didn't work. That's unfortunate for Liam Lawson. He'll live to fight another day, but now that's just going to close the pack back up again. What a start from Cameron Dass, though. He is right there in the mix, but it's anyone's guess now. Who's going to come and catch Tepe Notori?
Absolutely. Looks like he's possibly put Liam Lawson down quite down the old outside of the top 10. Also, Yuki Tsunoda, his other Red Bull junior, struggling as well. That's Lucas Dunn breaking a little wide, but let's try and shake out the order at the end of the first lap as they come down the pit straight, side by side between one of the DriveX cars in the mix, but Tepe Notori leads the way. Kiergaard in second place, under threat from Cameron Dass. Marino Sato's up to 4th. Poleman Lundqvist down to 5th after a poor start at the end of the first race. Marino Sato going aggressive, looking to the inside line for 4th, 3rd place, maybe 2nd. As Dass forces Kiergaard to outbrake himself. One car skating up the escape road in the background. We'll catch who that was in the second. Battles between Rui Andrade and Caelan Williams. Williams all over the curb on the exit, and Liam Lawson after that mistake from second is down to 13th. So that just shows how much you can lose in the momentum with one small mistake like that.
We'll definitely keep an eye on him though, because he's got great pace and he'll be fighting back through the grid again. So he's definitely one to watch for the rest of the race. As we see, they're still side by side for second place. Sato playing a watching brief there, just in 4th. Everyone is very, very close, and we see 2 cars off in the gravel in the second chicane.
think one was possibly one of the motor park cars off in the back had a problem. There we just saw a bit of a squeezing match between Kiergaard and Sato. Kiergaard won that one. He's coming under threat from Linus Lundqvist now in 5th position. And the 2 Red Bull cars, Liam Lawson now with Yuki Tsunoda moving past Rui Andrade, and also back in the orders Billy Munkers. He struggled a little bit. He was going all side by side with a few people in there too. And I think we also saw Ida Cohen going sideways at the second chicane too, as he's trying to defend now from the number 7 of Jack Doohan. So the Antipodeans are going at it into the chicane, and once again for the second time Lawson finds himself all over the curves up at Ascari chicane.
I think what we're working out very quickly is 2-3 wide into one corner doesn't really go too well, as you can see all the cars jinking to try and break that toe. Nattori sort of pulling away while the other 2 behind him battle, but as you can see the gap is only increasing suddenly because the toe is worth so much around here. Be interesting to see if Daz and Kiergaard actually start to work together to break a gap and try and catch down the man leading up front.
Well, the 2 Red Bull cars looked as though they were working together for a second, but they're going into combat now. So Lawson ahead of Tsunoda, trying to look back. Tsunoda's got ahead of his teammate. Lawson's trying to get him back in to try and make up for what was a very shaky first lap. Nattori still leads. Lock up from Das into the first chicane, goes a little deep, puts up with the threat from Kiergaard. 4th place for Sato, 5th for Lundqvist. Cameron Das at the end of that second lap sets the fastest lap. There's contact between Rui Andrade and one of the Red Bull cars, and I'm not sure who that was, whether it was Lawson. Damage to the left rear of Rui Andrade, so sadly that's possibly his race done rather prematurely, which is unfortunate. Now, which Red Bull car it was, I didn't quite catch it. We'll look at the end of the first sector to see which one goes tumbling down the timing screen. As for second place goes Cameron Das at the end of the Kiergaard. There's contact between the pair of them again. Was there any consequence? Well, Das has got through. This now gives Sato a chance to get up the outside into the first part of the Lesmos. Lundqvist is in there, Hahn's in there, also there is Lucas Dunner. Taking that 3, boys, calm down.
Round the outside in Lesmo 1, that is absolutely incredible stuff. Will he hold it? That is an exceptional move from Marino Sato. Round the outside in Lesmo 2, I can't even describe how difficult that is to do. And nice to see Marino, filling that prophecy there of a nice hard-fought race now that he's got nothing to worry about with the championship. So let's see if he can get his head down and close down on Cameron Das.
I think it's almost 3 abreast of this Ascari chicane, and the one that loses out is Christian Hahn all over the curves. I think as Lundqvist got a little sideways there, he's now battling still with his fellow Scandinavian Nikolai Kiergaard onto the back straight. Tepper Nattori just trying to pull away, thinking if you're going to keep scrapping, that's it. And that's Liam Lawson's the one that we lost out, so he made contact with Rui Andrade, and unfortunately it looks like it was right front to left rear into the second part of that chicane, and unfortunately that's his race done already.
As we can see there as well, there's still loads of action further down the field. Unfortunate to have Liam out. Obviously he's fighting for the rookie title with Linus, so Linus will make a bit of ground on that and he'll have tomorrow to recover that. But now we see Kiergaard trying to go back on Linus Lundqvist. These 2 obviously former racing drivers in British F3 last year fighting for the title, so there's plenty of history there, both looking for their first win in the series. Double waved yellows there for Liam's car, so everyone will have to slow down, file through, and then green flags when we go racing again.
Just seeing Carl Kirkwood and Lucas Dunner, I think Dunner was in front of the line, so there was a bit of a side-by-side action there, but Dunner was able to slot back in front to prevent possibly getting any penalty. So we're looking at the order now. Tepper Nattori has the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.075. It's great to see Nattori on form. As he got his first victories. Now here comes Caden Williams. Having a look at Christian Hahn. But Tepper Nattori, first win back at Barcelona. Of course, that was the immediately last race. So he'll have come into this race pretty fired up on good form. So he'll want to try and maintain that good form in many cases. Here's the start. Just talk us through it, Kevin, because it was a mega start for both the Carlin cars on the second row.
So actually, we just saw Kiergaard just creep slightly forward there just before the lights went out. Then the rest of it, unfortunate getaway for Linus, obviously, didn't get a great one. And there you can see Kiergaard just creep slightly forward, stopped himself before the lights went off. And in the midfield, you can see plenty of good starts, plenty of bad starts as well, filing down as much as 4 wide into turn 1 there.
And this is the onboard shot from Tepper Nattori, is how he saw it. So there you see Kiergaard slotting his way between the front row men. He managed to get past Lundqvist easy. We go past Lundqvist on the left-hand side.
And you could hear that as well. No wheel spin, perfect clutch release, bit of preload as well. And it really sorted him out going down into turn 1. Took the nice tight inside line, managed just about to cover Sato off on the outside, slot himself in nicely and focus on a nice clean exit down to the second chicane, because that's where the action continues.
Yeah, and that's where, of course, he got to watch them go through. This is what happened before. That was kind of what Liam Lawson's doing. He kind of stayed on the outside line. He might feel possibly his argument might be that Kiergaard didn't give him any room on this last part of that chicane, but in many cases, he did choose to go there, and well, that was the incident he had with Rui Andrade. That really did was a large whack on the right front. Yeah. Here's the slow-mo. And as it comes into view for a second here, and that's actually Andrade just firing his way into shot, and I think Lawson might feel very much aggrieved with that one, I'm afraid.
Little bit opportunistic from Rui, unfortunately. Obviously, Rui, driver with very little experience, finishing off his first year. He's progressed massively, but young racing drivers, they unfortunately make mistakes, and there's always losers out of it. Unfortunately, both of them have lost today, so another chance to get it sorted tomorrow.
Yeah, the teams will certainly try to get those cars fixed up as best they can to get them out for tomorrow's qualifying session tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, back to the front, Tepe Notori still leads the way. Cameron Das in second place. Marino Sartner has the fastest lap of the race, 1:44.330. Nice Lundqvist in fourth place, Kiergaard fifth, and it's Hahn, Dunner, Carl Kirkwood in his first year of Formula race up to seventh at eighth position. Great job from him so far.
And we can see Callan Williams, his front wing is actually hanging off the car as it comes back into shot. You can see that there. He might want to pull into the pit lane there. If it lodges under the car there, it's not going to end too well. So I think Callan might get the mechanical flag as he comes past the pits the next lap. Want to bring him in probably on safety reasons, but we'll see what he decides to do at the end of this lap.
He will also feel that, because he'll feel the car's not handling how it should be in terms of particularly that fast section there. This guy Chicanas running wide on the exit was Jack Doohan chasing after Billy Munger. Now this is how it happened, just clipping the rear of Lucas Dunner. I think possibly a bit of a misjudgment in terms of spatial awareness to where he was, but at the same time Dunner did move across to try and prevent that. Kaelan kept coming, and therefore unfortunately that was where the contact came, as we see Liam Lawson walking back looking rather disappointed after his rather shaky first few laps.
Yeah. Unfortunate contact there for the two of them, but obviously as we go back, what we can see is Cameron Das closing in on Tepe Notori. The gap is much, much smaller now, with Sato playing a watching brief there in third, and P4, P5 not too far behind either. So the lead gap's now massively closed up as we see Cameron Das fastest lap of the race, and hopefully things are about to get interesting.
Yeah, it should do. In fact, actually, look at that last lap. Cameron Das was about 4/10 quicker than the Tepe Notori, so certainly benefiting from the tow from the car in front, which is certainly helping him out. I have to say, for Carl Kirkwood, who's been someone who in the last few years has pretty much won just about everything there is to win in American single seasons on the road to Indy ladder, for his first time, not first time racing in Europe, because he was part of the Team USA scholarship back in 2015 that did the Formula Ford Festival and the Walter Hayes Trophy, but his first time racing this car in Europe, as we see Caleb Williams in the pit lane with a replacement front wing going onto that Fortet Motorsport car. For his first time racing these cars in Europe, he's doing incredibly well, holding off someone like Yuki Tsunoda. There he is in 8th position for RP Motorsport. Cracking job for the American, and possibly it could be a sign that he could be good on the circuits for Europe next year.
Yeah, obviously the road to Indy, highly competitive championship. I've raced in it myself. I know just how high that level is, and he's done an amazing job this year. And to come over and do what he's done, not the easiest place to come, obviously. A place with low downforce that doesn't inspire a great deal of confidence in the car when you jump in it. It's all about being sideways and all very high-speed corners. He's on it straight away, so be great to see him come back with potentially a good winter testing program and see if he can compete next year.
Keep an eye on it. He's just lost a place to Yuki Tsunoda, not to put a downer on that part, but certainly enjoying the battles he's got throughout the top 10 in many cases. Notori still leads the way by Cameron Das, who still has that fastest lap. Top three is starting to break away into their own pack there. Linus Lundqvist is trying to go with them as he sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:44.097.
And watch Sato in the background there. He's thinking about that move, but it's all about how you plan that overtake. If he goes and does the overtake, loses too much time, they're going to lose all that ground they've been working so hard to make up on Notori. It's going to be a calm, calculated decision where he loses a minimal amount of time so that he can challenge himself. So we'll keep an eye on that battle and where he chooses to do it. Obviously, as the champion, he's probably the best person to be in that position, but it'll be interesting to see how that battle plays out between the two of them.
Yeah, for him, he would simply want to go out there, just enjoy himself and get the best results he can. Of course, he's got to be careful not to put him into a position where eventually he could be disqualified for anything, as up the inside looks Nikolai Kiergaard on Linus Lundqvist. As you say, these two very well versed for having competed last year in British F3. They've now moved across to Euroformula this year, and with their battles have continued all season to be who is the best Scandinavian driver in the field. And so
even
far,
in the same teams as well as they were last year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still double R still for Lundqvist, and it's still Carl in for Kiergaard, so keeping up those team relationships. Also a good strong run also for Christian Hahn, the Brazilian. 7th place for Dunner, 8th place. Oops, that's Billy Munger off in the exit second part with Les Moses. He's now going to come back in front of rather bemused Jack Doohan. He now gets passed into 11th place. Nicholas Crutten as well, also in 13th, who's been standing in for Julian Hansis in the last couple of rounds. As we see this battling between Christian Hahn, Lucas Dunner and Yuki Tsunoda. Here's the replay. A little just wide on the exit. Bit too much pace on the second Lesmo, Callum.
Yeah, it's all about your brake release in that corner. You obviously want to bring in a load of entry speed because the track is cambered in. So you can really bring a lot in but still carry a good exit down that back straight. And obviously he's just braked a little bit too softly, brought a bit too much entry speed, but managed to gather it back up again on mid to exit. And he'll set his head down and try and get back after Cruton and do and regain that lost positions.
Whilst he tries to recover, we watched the leaders come back down the pit straight, 7 laps in the books, and I did notice that Marino Sato was again trying to line up Cameron Das for a move. He goes up the inside into the first part of the chicane. Cameron Das has to capitulate, lets him through, and the champion up into second place. So now it's a Japanese 1-2. As now see Christian Hahn defending for Lucas Dunner, and round the outside comes Yuki Tsunoda.
Oh, wow,
that was a pretty competitive move indeed, it was. Squeezes Dunner out to the edge of the track, maybe a little too much there, but Yuki Tsunoda, have to say, that was genuinely one of the better passes I've seen in Euroformula Open so far this season. That's brilliant.
Fully opportunistic. He saw the opportunity there and just took it. Even a bit of gravel on the outside, and then made sure that Dunner couldn't get past him again. Great racing. What we saw there, though, was Daz get back past Sato again while we were away talking about the other battle there. So Cameron Daz being really calm, really calculated, letting Sato go through, and then attacking again into that second chicane, using his brain really, really well and thinking it forward, not just living in sort of the heat of the moment there.
Yeah, just saw the slow motion replay there. Whoops, that is Nikolai Kiergaard, all out of shape, and I think that possibly the fact that he was just ahead of Linus Lundqvist suggests that he tried to make a move on Lundqvist, was in front briefly, but then just couldn't make it work.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the replay on that, because obviously they've been close for many laps now. It looked like he was ahead, and then 1 minute he was on the grass going sideways. Great car control from the Scandinavians, obviously famous for their car control. As we see the replay, got ahead, and then obviously just did what Munga did 1 lap previous, and did really, really well to keep it out of the barriers there. I'm sure his heart is probably going a little bit faster than it was before he entered the second Lesmo.
I'm sure Trevor Collins having heart palpitations at that one. As watching Yuki Tsunoda, he's now going to make up another place, this time with Christian Hahn, so he's going to make up 2 spots in 1 lap. And again, he's a bit sort of risky with pushing people, giving people a little bit of room. Tsunoda has the fastest lap of the race, as you've just spotted.
Yeah, and Tsunoda's just making really quiet progress through the field. Once he's cleared Kirkwood, he's just getting his head down, and obviously he can see the lead battle ahead. They're not tripping each other up too much, but we still have a lot of this race left. We're only halfway through. It's going to get, as the laps tick down, as we see him go down the inside, great move, well stopped. And he's managed to, as we were saying, he's managed to get a stop, get it out. So let's see how much he can get his head down now to close on Kiergaard.
Of course, one thing he's got to watch out for, of course, behind the 2 cars, unless they keep on scrapping, they're possibly going to get a tow from him on the faster section of the circuit as the top 3 close up into the Roger chicane. There's 4th and 5th, but Tsunoda now's got to be careful. He doesn't keep on becoming the threat as Christian Hahn goes diving up the inside. Tepe could kind of see that coming. But in any case, he's not trying to come back in straight away on the exit. He's going for it in the first part of the Lesmos.
That's a bold move, very bold move. Well done. That's a mega, mega opportunistic move. Even I didn't see that coming. That's great. Amazing, amazing.
And now up the inside of him goes Lucas Dunner. That's another place gain. So that's now Dunner back up into what is now 7th position, I think, at the expense of Christian Hahn. And now it gives Carl Kirkwood a chance to get into the mix, to get a place higher in the top 10. The top 3 have come through. Dunner again going defensive, one with them there. He's got to be careful not to weave too much, otherwise he might face a possible slap on the wrist from the stewards for that one. But he's got it back ahead of Christian Hahn. And now Carl Kirkwood proving his expertise in single-seater racing, having all that experience in the US, lining him up for a pass there. This is how he did it once again. This is Dunner squeezing back up the inside of Hahn, and Hahn simply, rather than fight it too much, he did just put 1 tyre onto the grass a little bit into the entry. It would have helped the car rotate a bit, would have lost a bit of pace in the meantime. Yeah,
the grass isn't normally the fastest way around the track. I've learned that to my experience over the years. As we see Sato pull out of Cameron Daz here. Bold move to go around the outside on the brakes, but we'll see if he's able to pull it off. Now he'll tuck back into Notorious Slipstream. It's all about just forming a nice straight line to that second apex, box the car on the inside off, and he's actually done it before the braking zone finishes, so great move from the champion there. And now let's see if he can actually get his head down, break clear of Cameron Daz and catch Notori.
And you noticed that Cameron actually didn't fight too much. You thought, right, I can get him back in the slipstream. He slotted back in quite wide, and you realised rather than try and fight it and compromise his race, slot back in, get the slipstream from Marino, try and get back past him before the end of the race, and try and also get the double turnout from the 2 Japanese guys in front, as we see a battle here between, that was Ferrari and Kaminiars in the Polish driver, also of our 2 newcomers. And even in the fight for 14th and 15th place, good strong battle between the pair of them.
Well, what you find with racing drivers is we're a special kind of breed. Even if you're fighting for 15th or 14th or 1st or 2nd, it doesn't matter. You never ever want to give an inch. It's all about gaining that experience, especially for young drivers. You know, hopefully one day they're going to come back here in Formula One, whatever their goals are and aspirations are. And this is all experience they're going to take with them moving forward. So you never give an inch. A little bit of rubbings, a little bit of racing, you know, as they say. And yeah, these guys are just fighting hard and trying to make up every position they can.
Someone's been fighting a little bit too hard, as Christian Hahn should be giving a warning for driver behaviour by the stewards and that sort of thing. So maybe it's because some of the weaving of some of the fact he was getting a little too close to some of the cars around him. Either way, he's got Carl Kirkwood chasing him down. The next group behind them is going to be pretty interesting. Whoa, that's Ida Cohen.
Slide.
Big slide for Ida Cohen, goes over the grass, and he loses out to both Nicholas Crutten and Jack Doohan. So Ida Cohen a little bit too much there. This is what happened up at the chicane, and that's Billy Munger going straight on.
Yeah, just outcooked his braking a little bit there. Really, really difficult when you arrive with 260 kilometers an hour. You're looking for the 100-meter board on the left-hand side, and to gauge that when you're in a tow, especially when you're carrying more speed than qualifying, those 5 meters at 100, 260, very, very difficult to gauge. So easy when you're pushing to outbrake yourself. As we see Sato, he's already caught up for the lead. Is he going to go around the outside? No, he can't do it. So he'll set himself up now going into the second chicane. 2 options, outside or inside. It's down to him to see what he can do in the slipstream now.
He's going for the inside line. The 2 Japanese talents going wheel to wheel. Sato's going to get his nose in front, but the next corner is a left-hander. So if Tepe Nattori can stay on the inside line, he may well get him back under braking for the first part of the Roger. They're going to come side by side. Japan versus Japan. They're going to go into the chicane of the Roger. Nattori gets his nose back in front, but on the exit, can Sato try and get back through? Das is back into the mix as well. It's 3 for the lead, but also here comes Maria Sato once again sweeping to the inside at the last possible moment, but Nattori had it covered. And also watch for the 2 cars behind, because the harder these 3 fight each other, the 2 cars behind, Lundqvist and Kjærgaard, are going to start to close in, so it'll become not just the 3-car train for the lead, but the quintet fighting for the podium.
We have 6 laps left of this as well. This is awesome. Now it's finally starting to hot up. As you can see, the drivers at the start of the race being nice, calm and calculated, but as the laps tick down, that win edges closer and closer and closer, so we're just going to see the aggression just step up corner by corner. Nattori doing a great job to control the race from the lead. He has done the whole race, but now when it becomes a 5-car fight, it's very, very different to being 1 or 2, as you said already. So let's see how it all unfolds. He should be trying to break that toe going down. He's covered himself going into Parabolica. It is possible to go around the outside, but I think Marino Sato will think better of it and probably try to line him up going into turn 1.
And while that happens, Linus Lundqvist up to 3rd place. And we said those 3 cars battling and close up the 2 cars behind. It's happened because Lundqvist is into 3rd place, trying to get himself back to the front after he botched the start a little bit. As here comes Sato sweeping to the inside line. Nattori will keep the racing line, but the next corner is a right-hander. So Sato, if he can get himself in front before the braking zone, that will do nicely as Nattori goes through. And also Kjærgaard swarming over the back of Cameron Das, the top 5 altogether into the chicane. Sato gets his nose in front and hits the front here. The champion into the lead here at Monza, as Cameron Das holds on to 4th place ahead of a very feisty Nikolai Kjærgaard, who, despite his small off on the exit with Lesmos a few laps ago, still looking racy and still keeping very good pace for the top 5.
And as we know, it is far from over now as we ride on board with Nattori going into the second chicane, just edging closer and closer and closer. Now it's about picking away. He's gone for the inside. What a move to take it back again. Can he get it stopped though and stop Sato passing him back on the exit? They're going to go wheel to wheel. Is he going to go outside? He's looking for that dummy again, but now they've all caught back up again.
Yeah, looks as though he's managed to just about hold on, and he actually defended the inside once. He made 1 move, but it was the right move to go to the inside to put Sato off. He's allowed after he's done that to go back to the racing line, which he did, and he was able to get back through nicely. What that's done now is it's brought Lundqvist and Das and Kjærgaard into the mix. Kjærgaard coming down the outside of Cameron Das for 4th.
And who we can see in the background as well is Yuki Tsunoda. Do not count him out. He's just making steady progress, edging himself up to this fight, the top 5. Let's see if he can get himself up and make it a 6-car fight for the lead. That would be amazing going into the last 4 laps.
Absolutely. He's got the fastest lap of the race, I think, so far. Yeah, 1:43.391. He's not the fastest man on the speed trap. That was Rui Andrade back in the race, 267 kilometers an hour. But Tsunoda actually, I think he's behind the cockpit, just tearing off one of his visor strips in many cases. So it wasn't a gesticulation to the guys in front saying, "Come back here, I want to race." But even so, top 5 altogether in a line. And as they come back on to what is now lap 13 here with 4 laps to go, and Sato goes for it again on the inside line, side by side between the 2 Japanese drivers. Nattori again will have learnt lessons from the lap before. Still wheel to wheel. Lundqvist watches on. He's got his way blocked. He's not going to try up the inside line. Here comes Nikolai Kjærgaard diving up the inside of Cameron Das to try and get through. They're going to go wheel to wheel. And Das again capitulates as they're going up the escape road. Goes Lucas Dunner out breaking himself completely. He does a bit of the first chicane shuffle through the escape road. And now Tepe Nattori, great onboard shot as he goes to the outside line for the next corner. He's on the inside through Curva Grande to get his nose back in front. And again, they go wheel to wheel. Sato goes back to the outside, then back to the inside, swarming all over the back of his fellow Japanese driver, but into the chicane he goes through. Meanwhile, Tsunoda in the background's going past Cameron Das for 5th, which he has. So he's in the pack now as Yuki Tsunoda. If he can do this, how cool would it be for Japan to get a 1, 2, 3 for their 3 talented young drivers if he can manage it? But he has got both Kjærgaard and Linus Lundqvist to try and get past in these next 3 laps to try and do that.
And what we're going to see is no one is going to pull away now, barring a significant mistake. It's just going to be like this to the flag. So it's all about watching it. It's about picking that moment. You pick the right time to overtake, you might be able to just get yourself enough clean air to get away. Pick the wrong moment, and you end up like Cameron Das, who was there just battling for the lead earlier, now back in 6th. Who knows what can happen? We could see him in the top 3 come the end of the race. It's all about that exit of Parabolica. That's going to be crucial going on to these last few laps.
Yeah. So onto the back straight they go then. We're into the crunch point in this race, coming up to 3 laps to go. Look at them, all of them are towed together. Vettori leads the way, but he's not getting a tow, but he's giving one to Marino Sato and Lundqvist and Kiergaard. Snowden's dropped back just a little bit. He was a little sideways through the middle of Ascari. He lost a bit of momentum, but he's still there. Lundqvist runs a little wide, but this is now giving a big slipstream to his fellow Scandinavian of Nikolai Kiergaard. And here we go again for the 3rd time in as many laps. Here comes Sato, goes back to the inside line. He'll have the inside now, but the Tory, they're both going to hit the clear air. Here comes Kiergaard to the outside of Linus Lundqvist. They're all going to be 2 by 2 into the complex. Snowden watches on, is up the inside line for the 3rd time into the chicane. Goes Marino Sato, but Vettori will try and get him back once again. Lundqvist stays in 3rd, Kiergaard 4th, but look at Marino Sato. He's on the back of Nikolai Kiergaard now, all the way through, and incredibly, looking at it now, Callum, they're all starting to drop. Cameron Das behind is Tepe Naturi, looks back to the outside line. They're side by side again, but he's on the inside line. It is Masato for the lead of the race. Naturi tries to squeeze him across, and he squeezes him out into the braking zone. A lock up from Kiergaard round the outside of Lundqvist, goes up to 3rd place. This could benefit Snowden if he plays his cards right. Up the inside of Lundqvist, follows Kiergaard through. Here comes Cameron Das as well on the inside line of Roger. And on the Lesbos, round the outside goes Lundqvist, but Kiergaard's got through into 3rd place. But Snowden's in the mix there, so is Cameron Das. And this 4-5, there's possibly a little bit of contact there as up the inside went Cameron Das on the back of Yuki Snowden. Possibly a bit of a contact between the pair of them. Das wheel to wheel with the Japanese driver. It is all happening with 3 laps to go here.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen Das sort of dropping off the back half a lap ago, and now he's right back in the fight again. Worth mentioning, great move by Nikolai Kiergaard around the outside in the 2nd chicane. Got it stopped, managed to get it back out again. But we've seen again, Naturi's just being so clever. He lets Sato go through and then just challenges back into the 2nd chicane. He's got it nailed. Marino's really going to have to adjust his approach if he wants to win this race and try something completely different.
Yeah, particularly, of course, as you say, out of the Parabolica, a couple of laps ago, out of the Parabolica, he needs literally the best run out of the Parabolica to be right underneath his rear wing to try and win the drag out of Parabolica. And just looking at here, again, he needs to ideally, if he can possibly, be right alongside. He's possibly trying to set that up to see how he gets on with 2 laps to go. Now, for the 4th time in a row, here he comes again, up the inside.
If he tries to stop it at the 2nd apex to kill Tepe Naturi's momentum coming out of the 1st chicane, he stands a much better chance. But he's actually pulled back in. I think he's learned his lesson there. He's going to try give him a go at his own game down to the 2nd chicane.
So next, Kiergaard up to 3rd place, Lundqvist 4th. Don't count out Sonoda just yet. He's on the tail of the Swede in 4th position. There's Sonoda in 5th, the Red Bull back driver. 6th place for Cameron Das. Rest of the top 10 for the record is Dunner in 7th place, Hahn in 8th, Crutton 9th, and Carl Kirkwood rounds out the top 10 in his first appearance. Sonoda looking to the outside of Lundqvist for 4th place into the Roger. And also look at Cameron Das. He's got unfinished business. He's trying to get back up the inside if he can. Sonoda possibly going well to wheel with Lundqvist as Vettori holds on around the outside of Sato, who had to look up the inside into the first part of the Lesmos. And now here comes Kiergaard in 3rd place.
And Sonoda's managed to make it past Lundqvist there. Great move on the exit of the 2nd chicane. He forced Lundqvist to defend and then just got him on the run towards the 1st Lesmo. Let's see if he can get his head down and chase down a top 3 and see if we can get that all Japanese top 3 that you predicted earlier on in the race.
Well, it's not happened just yet. It's not over until we get to the checkered flag, but it'd be great, of course, with everything going on in Japan at the moment, the Japanese Grand Prix and the Rugby World Cup, it'd be great to see 3 talented young Japanese drivers on the podium, but we'll see if it happens or not. Let's wait and see. This is a move between Nicholas Crutton and
Christian Hahn. Going
Hahn
off in the 2nd chicane there. Obviously a bit of contact, 2 into 1 doesn't really mix, and Hahn gets back on circuit, but obviously lost a few positions there.
Indeed. Coming to the end of the penultimate lap now, 1 more lap to go. And this is where it counts now. They've got, if you're going to make this move, it has to make it stick this time by. Kiergaard a little slower off Parabolica, but he will have the tow. Also at the back of this queue, watch for Lucas Dunner. As Sato again, this is now the 5th time he's done this, side by side with Vettori. This time though, he has got his nose more in front than he did the previous time, so good run for Parabolica has helped. Here comes Kiergaard under brakes again. It's now Sonoda in 4th position. As Kiergaard, I think he thought about moving Vettori, but pulled out at the last second, thinking, no, I don't want to take my front wing off. I'll stay there, try again later on round the lap.
He did, and what we saw as well was Sato just not turning into the 1st apex of the 1st chicane, just trying to compromise Naturi even more so that he can't get the run on him. You can actually see the gap is slightly bigger. I think it's worked out for Sato. Obviously, there's still half a lap left. He's looking to go defensive. Naturi's all over him. He won't want to give this away. He's led basically the whole race. You don't want to give it away on the last lap, but as you can see, Sato, it's worked well for him. He's picked that moment, timed it perfectly, and if he can finish the next half of the lap, he's got the win in the bag.
It's going to be crucial, particularly with Vettori in 2nd place, because it's now Kiergaard in 3rd, so it's 2 cars on the podium at the moment, but Motor Park would certainly want to get 2 cars past the podium for themselves, particularly if Sonoda can get himself past Kiergaard. Also in the mix there is Lundqvist back in 5th, Cameron Dass in 6th, and also we saw at the back of the field, Lucas Dunner has joined us to make it a 7-car fight, but at the moment Marino Sato appears to have the pace advantage at the end of the second sector. He's pulling away actually on this last part, so it looks like either the Tories either just settled for second place or not, but let's wait and see. Out of Ascari for the final time, onto the back straight. It's going to be very crucial to see who can make this move. Kiergaard's lining up the Tory. I think possibly Sonoda's lining up Kiergaard as well, but up towards the Parabolica for the last time. And Marino Sato from 5th on the grid is going to turn his way into the final corner. He may have been a little bit off the pace trying to get the job done in Barcelona, but here in Monza he's shown exactly everyone why he's the champion. Up to the checkered flag. It is victory in the first race at Monza for the new champion. Marino Sato wins race 1 at Monza in Euroformula Open. It's second place for the Tory, and on the line Yuki Tsunoda does get 3rd place.
Wow.
Just from Nikolai Kiergaard. It is a Japanese 1, 2, 3 on the podium. Kiergaard 4th, Lundqvist 5th, Cameron Dass gets 6th, and Lucas Dunner 7th. How close was it? The top 7 covered by a fraction over 3 seconds. 8th place for Nicholas Cruton, 9th for Carl Kirkwood on his Euroformula debut. Great job for him, and 10th for Jack Doohan. That, Callan, was an extremely competitive race, an incredibly great day for Japan, and an incredibly great day for Euroformula Open.
I know, it all came down to the small details there. Couple of meters not turning to the first apex at turn 1. That just gave Sato the breathing room he needed to not get passed back into the second chicane. And then probably 5 meters earlier on the throttle for Sonoda there, just to outdrag Kiergaard to the line. That was, absolutely amazing. I'm still having to calm myself down from the excitement there. I didn't see that coming. Pounced at the right moment, and what a great race, and thankfully we have one more to go tomorrow.
We do, absolutely. One more season to round off what's been a thrilling 2019 season. Here's a replay of how Sato made that last lap move, and as you mentioned, this time he was able to put himself alongside in that line much quicker than he had done the previous times, and that was what was crucial for him to get in front, hold the apex and through the inside line through the Retovila chicane, and just about hold on. As we're going to bring the results up on screen of what was an incredible first race of the weekend, but it does end up with a Japanese 1, 2, 3. Sato wins, the Tory in second place, and Yuki Tsunoda just beats Nikolai Kiergaard to the line for the final podium spot. Kiergaard and Lundqvist round out with top 5. Cameron Dass picked up 6th, 7th for Lucas Dunner, 8th for Nicholas Cruton. Great drive from Carl Kirkwood to pick up 9th on his Euroformula Open debut. 10th for Jack Doohan. Could have been better, but he found himself a little bit further back in the pack than he would have liked to have been, and had to settle with a top 10 position. Then the rest of the order will come through on the screen, with 11th place going to Billy Munger after he had 1 or 2 mistakes. Christian Hahn had an off late in the race. Ida Cohen 13th after he had his problems. Philippe Caminiars picks up 14th place. Lorenzo Ferrari 15th. Caelan Williams we saw into the pit with a broken front wing. Rui Andrade out after contact with Liam Lawson. Those two unfortunately did not finish the race. So what does it do to the points? Well, nothing to the lead, but of course it does also, and nothing reaches second or third place. In fact, Lucas Dunner is doing even more to secure second place in the championship, whereas he scored points, whereas Lawson failed to do so. Sonoda continues 4th, but he's now level with Linus Lundqvist. Nikolai Kiergaard 6th, Tepin Notori's up to 7th place, ahead of Julian Hansis in 8th position. Extraordinary, pretty extraordinary race, but this is a circuit, Caelan, where this kind of racing is pretty much commonplace. It's a circuit that's made for racing like that.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously these cars as well, they got so much downforce. They punch a great big hole in the air, which magnifies that slipstreaming effect. It's what's expected. It's what we've seen over the previous years, and it's what we're definitely going to expect tomorrow as well, and in the years to come with the introduction of the new car as well. That's going to be quicker. It's going to produce even more downforce, so it's going to generate even more great racing just like this. So yeah, obviously we're still catching our breath after all of that action. Thankfully we've got an evening to recover, and then we'll come back tomorrow and hopefully cover what will be a great end to what's been a great championship.
Certainly will, and it's certainly being a great end to the championship for this man. Marino Sato picks up the victory. It's been a while since he's been on the winning step of the podium. He missed a couple of rounds due to commitments elsewhere, but at the same time he then came back, scored the points he needed at Barcelona to wrap up the title, and I think just enjoying himself in that last race to pick up a much-deserved victory, and also proving to everyone exactly what kind of racecraft he really has. So he's done a fantastic job, and really is showcasing to people exactly what kind of a driver he really is. And just of course, in edit with that, his race down already. It was pretty quick getting down to the...
That was fast, yeah. He's got a career in sprinting lined up. You can see him panting out of breath there. Must be in good physical shape after the end of this weekend.
He was only in the commentary box about 3 minutes ago. So the fact he's run down there to the pit lane that quickly, I have to say, I take my hat off to you, Elliot. Well, that's probably faster than I can run. Yeah. So in many cases, and I'm happy to admit that because I need the exercise. Anyway, we're going to wait for our podium and of course our interview with our race winner Marino Sarto in just a second. So hopefully we'll get to that. But of course we'll profile the top 3 in just a moment. But the crowd's certainly enjoying this fantastic sort of early autumnal Italian sunshine here at Monza. Just seeing Liam Lawson's car go in the back of a low load. Of course, it had damage to the right front, so the motor park squad have got some work to do to get that car in order for tomorrow's second race, which will start with qualifying in the morning.
And I was about to say, I think the great thing about tomorrow is the order resets again. We don't know who's going to be in front. Monza qualifying is unpredictable as ever. We saw some names up the front that we weren't necessarily expecting from practice. So let's see what happens tomorrow, and we could get a good race.
So here's confirmation of the top 3, and it was a Japanese 1, 2, 3. So here is the drivers in first and second. Marino Sarto, your race winner, the champion, of course, after he clinches the title in Barcelona, and he, of course, will go on to hopefully pick up another victory tomorrow if the fortunes go his way. Of course, second place went to Tepe Notori, and Yuki Tsunoda also picked up third place. So with Nikolai Kiergaard fourth, Linus Lundqvist in fifth, and it was Cameron Dass, Lucas Dunner, Critton, Kirkwood and Durham. So let's take a look at the highlights of an incredible race one. It was a fantastic getaway from Nikolai Kiergaard, a poor start for pole man Linus Lundqvist, but the man that won the race down to turn 1 was indeed Lundqvist, just ahead of Jack Durham as they went side by side. Cars went skating off the escape road on the first lap, but F1 for the most part got through safely. Still side by side action into the Roger chicane on the opening lap as drivers fought for track position, including the Carlin cars almost going 3 abreast into the second chicane as cars scattered everywhere in the runoff area. The first driver came was Liam Lawson as he skipped over the chicane and then headed across the gravel, almost nearly avoided the barrier. And then further round, sadly Rui Andrade outbraking himself, and the two clattered into each other. It was left rear suspension damage for Rui Andrade, right front suspension damage for Liam Lawson, and out of the race he went. Billy Munger a bit over-enthusiastic on the exit of second Lesmos. He managed to carry on rather much without too many problems. But Marino Sarto at the front started to charge his way through for fifth on the grid. He passed Cameron Dass and then basically spent the second part of the race battling with Tepe Notori. The man on the charge was Yuki Tsunoda with some brilliant overtaking throughout the field, passing Christian Hahn. And as a result of those moves later on, Lucas Dunner also squeezed his way up the inside into the second Lesmo. The 3 went past the Brazilian to pick up another place. Later on the race, Ida Cohen, who only debuted back at Barcelona, was second down in Euroformula open the hard way. He skipped over the chicane and lost that place in the process. In the last few laps, it was a great battle at the front between the 2 Japanese stars, Marino Sarto and Tepe Notori. And Sarto managed to time his move for the lead just right into the chicane in the last lap to hold on. He would come under threat from Tepe Notori all the way through the last couple of laps. But at the end, the champion showed exactly why he's number 1 in the standings. He drove to the checker flag and picked up victory in race 1 at Monza, second to Tepe Notori, and in a drag race to a line, it was a Japanese 1, 2, 3, as Yuki Tsunoda picked up a podium, with Marino Sarto celebrating victory as the new champion. So, drivers up onto the rostrum, and there we are, all 3 Japanese drivers up on the top step on the podium together. Yuki Tsunoda picking up third, Tepe Notori second, and Marino Sarto the winner. And of course, it will be the national anthem of Japan that rings out for our winning drivers. So the national anthem of Japan ringing out for not just our race winner, but all 3 of our podium finishers. And of course, they will all receive their respective trophies as well. It's a double podium for Team Motorpark, but also Carlin represented as well. So that's one of our representatives from Michelin, who gives the 3rd place trophy to Yuki Tsunoda. He looks relatively happy with his performance through the field. And the Red Bull Junior with more silverware to take back to his homeland in Japan. 2nd place going to Tepe Notori, certainly on form after his victory, first time at Barcelona. He was quick in the pre-season test there as well, so in the dry, he was certainly a force to be reckoned with all day throughout Sunday. But the race winner, once again, your champion for 2019 after you secured it back in Barcelona, Marino Sato. All smiles on the top step of the podium. And everyone will join together to take part in the group photo. I think the team reps also trying to squeeze in there as well. And he also team Motor Park also receiving their team winners trophy as well. And so as the champagne rings out, it's great to see. Join us tomorrow for more action here from Monza. But from all of us here, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.